All right, let's talk about squatting. Squatting is the most foundational movement we have in any kind of fitness regimen, okay? For baseball, whether you're runners, bikers, baseball, football, soccer, you name it. Why is squatting so beneficial? Because it's all about glute strength, posterior chain, okay? Strongest chain in the body, strongest isolated or set of muscle groups in the body. In the glutes, we have the glute max, which is mostly superficial, but does have some movement and loaded capabilities. We have the glute medius, which is probably the primary mover in most exercises that are focused on the glute or posterior chain, and the glute minimus, which is a little more off to the side and is this stabilizing force in all this lower body nonsense that we're doing. So, when it comes to squatting, okay, we work on a sagittal plane, okay, and we work in a position that tries to alleviate anterior pelvic tilt, or the pelvis from moving in this direction, and get it more from moving upwards and forwards to moving upwards, okay? That's gonna help our upper body position, okay? As with all exercises and routines, we really wanna focus on having that core engaged. And again, as I've described in some of the previous sessions, we wanna focus on not so much just drawing the belly button into the spine, but alleviating this, this arch or this convex area in the lower back or in the lumbar region, okay? Our spine has a natural curve to it, but to really protect that core and get the most out of it, we want to kind of push that curve out, bring that core in, okay? And put ourselves in a position where we're super solid and stable through this core area, okay? So, super important with squatting. Now, I squat better with a load, okay? First thing we're going to do is we're going to look at back squats, okay? So, when we're talking about back squatting, I can't decide which way I want to show you first, but let's go ahead and set our foundation. Everything is all about the setup and the foundation for me, okay? So, I like to do all this stuff barefoot because it gives me a better sense of proprioception, i.e. mind-body connection, and where am I, how am I communicating, or how much energy am I getting for return from the earth itself. I find it's much easier and much more beneficial to do this with bare feet, although it does make it somewhat more difficult in some cases. So, all that said, set your foundation somewhat wide, okay? As we squat, a couple of core principles. As we get down, our range of motion in the squat is dictated by how much we're able to open up that hip girdle, okay? I often describe or cue my athletes in terms of being able to understand this as breaking the hips open, okay? So if we take our hips from the side here and we think about breaking it open and opening it up so that your pubic bone comes forward, okay? Because what we're trying to do is get external rotation in the femur and the hip socket here, okay? So right here, my upper leg connects into my hip with that femur. The head of my femur comes into a hip socket like so. What we want to do is we want to externally rotate that. In other words, in this position, I'm going to rotate that fist towards my body, okay? So if I'm demoing my right side, I'm going to open this up. When I break my hips open, my femur then is able to externally rotate, allowing my butt to get down closer to the ground and open things up so that I can get a little bit of depth out of it, okay? So, from this position, now notice the heels do not come up off the ground. Now, the deeper I can get in this position, the more upright my body is. Now I'm in a position where I can actually go ahead and push my feet right through the floor, get the tail feathers working, and be able to generate the power and the explosive strength I need to be able to perform this skill successfully. So let's try it with a little bit of a load. So, now I've got this bar, it's like 30 pounds or something, okay? I'm going to place this on my back like I would with a bar with a back squat. Okay, now I'm set nice and stable with a nice wide platform, and because I've got a little bit of load on me, I'm going to get a little bit of extra resistance. It's actually going to allow me, those hips to break open a little further and get me nice and deep into that squat, even with my giraffe sticks for legs, okay? So for here, I'm going to set myself up, I'm going to engage my core, I'm going to come down, and I'm going to explode up out of this, okay? Now, if at first you can't break a 90-degree plane, that's fine. You will. It takes some practice, okay? But one thing I really want to drive home from this is that my backside is doing the work, not my quads, And then I'm able to track my knees in that the alignment with my knee over my foot is perfect. There's no collapse. If your knees are collapsing to the inside, your glutes are not working. Okay, if they're coming to the outside, you have super poor abduction. Let me know and we can address that in a separate exercise. So again, we're gonna come down from this nice firm platform and we're gonna come down into our squat and explode up out of here. Okay, there you have it.